Good morning, and welcome to the H1 2025 release for Employee Central. My name is Christian Tassetti. I'm a lead consultant at Veritas Prime, certified in the Employee Central module. Veritas Prime is a global SAP SuccessFactors partner specializing in implementing and supporting customers with SuccessFactors. As part of our release coverage, I'll be covering key items for Employee Central. Full release details can be found at veritasprime.com or via your CSM. With that said, let's jump into the first item. So the first item we have is enhancements in Employee Central compensation. So a couple of points to note here. The first one being that managers can now compare new comp ratios versus their team using newly added reporting widgets. In addition, we can now add attachments to various compensation-related portlets in Employee Central, such as comp information, recurring pay components, and non-recurring pay components. The use cases here is it essentially enhances any pay transparency, as managers can assess employee salaries and align that with team averages. On the attachment side, the ability to attach supporting documents, and this could be things like contracts or bonuses, basically allows managers to all assign this to a single record to have a single source of truth. For this item, I do have a couple of videos to show you. If I jump to the first one, we have the new field attachments. So if I click play on this video, we can see that we're in the data model, and the video will just highlight the attachment ID fields, both in comp information and pay component recurring. When we jump to the profile, as a manager, for example, I can make an edit just as I usually would. I can click on the date and the relevant event reason. When I then scroll down, you can see the attachment functionality here. So this is very similar to personal information, if you're familiar with Employee Central. And then again, if I scroll down, I can see my pay components, and I have the attachment button there as well. So the standard file types are supported, so Word documents, PDFs, Excels, just as before. Okay, the second video is in regards to the widgets. So again, if I play the video, the prerequisite here is to just configure the permissions under the employee widgets. So we can see there we have comp ratio versus team. Now, if I view all instead of making an edit, as a manager, I can scroll down and we can start to see these widgets in place. If I click on the comp ratio versus team, I get a quick comparison of the comp ratio percentages across my direct reports. With that said, we will jump to the next item. So the first of three here to do with document generation and specifically digital signatures. So a major update in Employee Central now is that users can use DocuSign with document generation, essentially using the highlighted feature there, which is allow digital signature. And this field basically generates mass documents while sending each document for a digital signature. So the main use case or enhancement, it's really operational benefits. So if you're handling a large number of documents, you can now obviously have these signed using DocuSign, and they can be sent out en masse. The second document generation is the digital signature placeholders. So as you can see here, document generation will give users the ability to add placeholders for signatures. This can be done across individual templates. You can basically position this wherever. As you can see on screen, you can just put in a token or tag at the bottom of the message. And this is basically going to streamline the electronic signing process, as we mentioned before. Previously, in some examples, we've implemented hard-coded images, but with this feature now, you're going to get a lot more sort of digital signatures, and yeah, it's going to look a lot better and work much more efficiently. Again, the use case here is that placeholders will ensure signatures are placed consistently across all documents like contracts, so anything that you're using document generation for can be enhanced. The final document generation item that I want to call out is email notifications. for digital signatures. So when you are running through these processes, you can now include email notifications for senders in various digital signature scenarios. So, e.g., when a document is generated, when it's sent for signing, or when a signer actually completes that signature. So again, all three of these combined, these three enhancements, is going to streamline the collaboration. It's going to become a real-time process using document generation for signatures, and it will also leave an audit trail. So any action is now time-stamped, which is great for, recording and auditing purposes. So the next item is add new employee to this position. So previously, when you've created a position in Employee Central, you would have to go to the Add New Hire wizard. But the new hire process here is that you can actually do this directly from the position. It's basically going to simplify the hiring process. It's going to pre-fill position-related details as before, but it's just having that streamlined effect. There are no images currently, but when this item is released, you will be able to check this out. A good one here I thought to call out was the new national ID information with validity period. So essentially, previously, when we had national ID, there would usually just be a single national ID. There would be no periods or timescales between these. But now we have a valid from and valid to fields to the data model. This is going to support tracking, obviously, lifelong or long period of time national ID. And now you can define how multiple national IDs will be validated. So it's really going to help compliance, legal, regulatory standards as it improves the expiration management. So we'll be able to build notifications off the back of these. And it's also going to simplify audits for GDPR purposes. A big one here to call out is the mass data management, which is now supports job information. So job information processing does now allow for syncing processes of up to 50 records for a single mass change request. This is really going to help end users ensure efficient data management. The job history portlet can be the most complicated when handling data. There's obviously a lot of rule logic that can be built into customer environments. Um, and the job history import is now renamed to job information to avoid confusion when working with imported data. So again, the feature is really going to help admins and HRs looking to streamline the update of job data. And now bulk changes to job info can be done via this tool for multiple employees simultaneously. So you have an additional option over your standard imports. If I jump to the video, I can show you what this looks like. So we have the pre-configuration set up here, which can be done with the support of Veritas Prime. For example, if we wanted to upload some information, we can come to the mass data management. We can select our job information category. In this case, we're going to be looking at holiday calendars. I can select a specific location and target all the users that this applies to. I can then put in my event reasons, update my specific holiday calendar, and apply. This will then trigger the process. Once completed, we will see the modified tag, and you'll be able to process that change. Okay, jumping back to the slides, we have a couple more items to look at. This one is related to approvers. So the approver replacement functionality ensures that employees who is the subject user of a workflow cannot serve as a step approver. Instead, the system will automatically assign their manager, for example, as a step approver. Contributors and CC roles will replace the same person being subject user with their manager. Any delegation scenarios will disallow individuals being subject user of a workflow, instead replacing them with their manager. This feature ensures the approval integrity and compliance as it prevents conflicts of interest in blocking employee self-approval, and it will stop the individual with multiple employments from self-approving actions in their subordinate role. So not the most glamorous one, but it's a key one for workflows. This will bring us to our last item, which is a bit of a big one. So the enhancements to the admin tool for latest people profile. Um, in terms of the functionality, the configure latest people profile tool can be used even if the latest full profile is not enabled. Given that the full profile is enabled, you can use this feature and users can define target roles, which can access specific categories, move custom cards around, or predefine categories. In terms of the use cases, it's going to give users an improved usability through role-based access control for targeted visibility and improved security. And it's basically going to enhance customization and card management, making everything clearer, everything more refined to your organization and better user experience. So we will wrap up with the final video, which shows what this looks like. As you can see here, I'm on the configure admin page. I can create various category names. Obviously, this is multi-language supported. I can define a target role. Obviously, this can be defined as per your organization setup. And then once I save this, my new category will be created and I can play around with the order, as you can see on screen, and go ahead and save if needed. Again, just showing the ability to reorder. So you can see from the click of a button, I can play around with this. I can change the category, for example. So this can be personalized as your HRS system sees fit. Okay, with that said, that brings us the end for the Employee Central highlights. Thank you very much for your time, and please reach out if you have any other questions.